Fantastic tones for human bones.
Welcome to Fantastic Bonus for Human Tones, Part 2. I am Robert Woods LaDue. To my digital left, we have Mark Pascucci Clifford.
Hello.
MPC. And to my other left, we have my brother, DJ Koyana Scott.
That's, yeah. Some people know me as DJ Koyana Scotzi. My name's Michael LaDue. Happy to be here.
Can you do the low Koyana Scotzi call?
Yeah, but I'm not really warmed up, so.
Well, and also, I mean,
maybe later.
Like, if that's your DJ name, I'm sure that the rate is pretty high for that.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. Wouldn't be prudent.
That is a little bit metal, huh? Coy. I don't know.
Man, my voice is a little. I had more meetings today than I've ever had before.
Really? Personal record for Bob today. That's great.
Wow.
Welcome to our new show within a show where we complain about our work days.
Outstanding.
Yeah, enough about work.
Enough about. Do y'all know? Well, before we dive in, you brought it up, so I have to say, do you know the Moondog record? Heart Songs. Where he's.
Who are you asking? I don't.
Okay.
I do not.
I'm sure it's available.
Maybe
on
it's a rhetorical
Bandcamp,
question.
Which is why we're here, and we'll check in on that in just a bit.
So was that you starting? Was asking if we knew about a record?
Moondog is on,
dude. Have you ever heard of this? Yeah, I mean that's kind of the vibe, right?
Well, yeah, it is on here. What? Let's just go ahead, man. Just take it away.
Are we gonna start with Moondog Heart Songs?
Sure.
Nice.
Why not?
Well, I've been a proud owner of this record for some time, and it was recommended to me via text when I was doing something or other on the computer. I remember actually I was writing a cover letter, which is like a very arduous task for me personally, but this record, Moondog normally does kind of he's an instrumental inventor. He was anyway. And I think he had an accident and was blinded around the age of 17, but he was an ardent student of like counterpoint and composition for his whole life. So he has like a really interesting concept that, has a lot of like really deep groove that comes kind of out of the world of Sun Ra in a way. And,
what's counterpoint?
You
said he's an ardent student of counterpoint?
Yes. He studied Bach's contrapuntal style of composing.
Can't use the word in its definition.
This is interesting because we're actually getting called out on like how much we'll just say stuff. Bob and I both have studied composition.
It's true.
I'm a layman. I don't have any musical background whatsoever. So I'm going to be here to just ask the difficult questions.
That's good. Smack us down,
Yeah, definitely.
Throw us against the wall.
Counterpoint is literally, contrapunct. I think.
Don't say contrapuntal.
Yeah, point to point, where you have one line, and I'm terrified to do this for something that's going to be aired, just because I'm still learning about it myself. But it's essentially a set of rules that involves motion of one note against another note with two melodies that are happening at the same time. And
yeah, it's a set of rules. That's a good way. That's a good, very short definition.
Yeah, and I think that's about as far as
they kind of they exemplify
like a pattern,
the basis of Western music.
Like the inventions. You said.
Well,
Bach,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
Yeah,
like
Bach.
the two-part and four-part inventions. And then all the well-tempered clavier, like those would be made up of all 12 keys, major and minor, a prelude, and a fugue. And if you look at the fugues, and again, this is Bach, and if you look at the fugues,
The fugues are hardcore.
Those are all
They're kind of metal.
really based, the basis of what became the school of counterpoint.
Yeah, it's a set of rules that dictate, like a certain note can go to these other possible notes. A chord progression can progress in this way. Like this note in this scale in this context can make this move and not this other move.
Yeah.
And like if these two notes are doing these two things, like they can do this and they can't do these other things. It's like rules like that associated with that type of harmony.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, some programs like Stanford, I believe if you go there for composition, that you'll have 2 years of counterpoint before you dig into anything more of a modern compositional school. So it's a deep world, and like what I was saying about Moondog is that he was a lifelong student of it. And what I love about this particular record, Heart Songs, is that there's like these almost tongue-in-cheek lyrics where he's calling out humanity left and right on faults that he has perceived, but he's written these really complex lines that all work together through counterpoint, and it's basically 2 pianos and percussion instruments that he's playing or has invented, and the pianos are, I believe, multi-tracked by this pianist he was working with in Berlin at the time. And he has this really kind of funky grandpa-ish voice where, like, when he's singing, like, "Hi, all the rockies, let's a little
You can like hear his,
like
his
that
beard
kind of thing,
like muffling.
where not
his
everything
voice a
is
little
super enunciated, but it's really charming in a way. And then there's like really brilliant, gorgeous moments that just pop out of nowhere. And then like the last song is like a 2-minute song about how America acquired Alaska, and it's actually really fascinating, and I learned a lot.
It's called Ask Me.
Ask me about Alaska if you care a tinker's damn.
Yeah.
It's the shit. I love this record very much, and I will say that the song "Do Your Thing," like there's been a few moments in my life where I've had these deep feelings of feeling completely free. Right. One of them was I was reading at some point the Pale Blue Dot essay by Carl Sagan, and like it helped give me that perspective of zooming out from the earth and realizing that I was free, so I could do whatever I felt like I wanted to, and like it helped me get away from all the self-imposed criticism from whatever type of stuff I was trying to make at the time musically.
All the oppressive rules of counterpoint.
Yes, the severe oppression, but Do Your Thing is like a beautiful tribute to being true to yourself and having fun, getting down and being chill dude.
Did you say that he was blind? I don't really know that much about Moondog. You said he was blind?
Yes, he's blind. And he also, this is something that people should know, is he was known as the Viking of like 5th Street or something like that. I forget what street, but he used to dress like a Viking and stand out in the middle of one of the busiest avenues in Manhattan in like the 60s, I believe, and play his instruments as a way to help him collect funds to make his records.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. So Moondog, Heart Songs, accidental starter of this bonus round, but I love that record so much, so I'm glad that it happened that way.
Very cool.
Good. Well, Michael, would you like to go next, or you want me to go?
Well, I could go. I have a list that I pulled together today of some artists that I've discovered of late.
Nice.
But I certainly don't know anything about most of them. So I'm not sure what format this should take. If I should just
try to convince people to buy them, because that's all we're doing really, is like all that we're doing is making suggestions for people to support artists on the Bandcamp's free-for-all thing that's happening on the first Friday of next month. And I guess it's currently, as we're recording this, it's August. This will be released in September, I should point out. But
All right.
but the first
Fair
Friday
enough.
of September is what we're talking about. And so all of the proceeds that get purchased on that day go more to the artists than to Bandcamp.
Okay.
Bandcamp is waiving their fees that day. So it's a great day to support all of the artists that you want to support.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that case, I guess I will start with this lady, Mirna Bogdanovic. I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name. She's Polish, I believe. Is that right?
That's what it said.
Okay. And I will suggest her album Confrontation. Yeah, I don't know when or how I discovered this, maybe through you or through some
I
other
probably
friend.
sent this to you because this freaked me out almost.
Is this, can we get a quick spelling on that?
Yeah, so Mirna, M-I-R-N-A.
Ooh, M-I-R-N-A.
And then the last name is Bogdanovic.
Got it.
And the album is Confrontation.
Confrontation. I'm there.
You see it? Yeah. Yeah, this is really interesting stuff. You kind of just have to listen to it. It's I don't really want to put a genre of any kind on this, but it's really challenging music.
Wow.
I don't know. It's kind of all over the place.
Let me just real quick say the instrumentation. And this is a recent release of December 18, 2020. So we have Mirna on voice and composition. Then we have saxophone, woodwinds, and synth player. 2 other voices, Pauline and Dora. And then we have someone playing piano, Rhodes, and synth, and guitar, and then double bass. So we have acoustic bass and then drums. So this sounds like an extremely fascinating, and the aural capacity of this ensemble sounds really cool. So I'm excited to check this one out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the synths really throw you for a loop on this one, I think, because it's otherwise a very acoustic album.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is the production on this is out of control good. It's definitely, at least from a jazz sort of like perspective lens or whatever however you want to think about that, much like the Dirty Snacks, almost like if you were to you couldn't call it jazz explicitly. It's not plain Jane jazz, but it's like somehow in the ballpark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are heavy compositions. Like there's a lot of writing in this, and they're beautiful. And there's beautiful vocal parts, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
The woodwinds, I guess, is what they're calling it. There's some really, I would say they're very prominent, and they're striking in this album. So
awesome. Very cool. Yeah, this is
check it out
in my wish list, and that means that it's going to get got on the first Friday.
Yeah. This is one of the ones that I've picked up, and I own this already, but I haven't dedicated enough time to like really understand it through and through yet.
So this is saying she's based in Berlin, actually. I don't know if she's Polish or what, but
I was just gonna say it was recorded in Poland.
Oh, okay.
And also like these people's names have, but I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
There you
matter.
can't put borders on this music. You really can't.
That's true.
We have a Pauline Peak. I like that name. Peak. All right. Yeah, dig, man. I'm gonna I believe that this was passed my way, as we said in the last Fantastic Tones for Human bonus episode. Bob is an ardent album chatter via GChat. So like I believe this one was passed my way, but there are so many, and now that I look at the cover, I know that I'm gonna go back and revisit this one. So good call. Thank you very much.
Cool.
All right. Bobito.
All right. Well, I might as well do this one. Horse Lords.
Yeah, nice.
I know this
Good
one.
call. I'm surprised that didn't come up last time.
Well, there's a lot of choices here on Bandcamp.
There's a few.
Yeah.
So I actually discovered this band by the fact that we were opened. They opened for us, or vice versa. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
For
who?
I actually don't remember if it was TFPP or Denny Breakfast.
I think it was TFPP because I remember just at some point you were suddenly way into Horse Lords, and that was at a point when I was already playing with Denny, and I had only done a couple of shows.
Yeah, one day you turned around and I was wearing a Horse Lords t-shirt.
Yeah, and it has not changed since. So
yeah. So this band is they're an instrumental rock band. They have guitar, bass, drums, and sax is the primary instrumentation. They do switch around and play some other instruments from time to time. The bass and guitars are refretted to a alternate non-Western tuning system. I don't know, and this is not my forte. I don't know what exactly the tuning system is. Maybe it says right on here. Oh man, I'm not going to read all this. All right, so
TLDR.
yeah, they've got an alternate tuning system. It's beautiful. Seems to be like one that emphasizes the extra flatted seventh tone of the harmonic series. So the relationship between the like if you were playing a root note and a whole step below that would be something closer to a minor third than a whole step. So that's a tuning system that they use, and their music is always with, I mean, they have a lot of different stuff, but they do a lot of interlocking patterns between the guitar and the saxophone, and the saxophone kind of matches the tone with the guitar and vice versa. The guitar is fingerpicked and it's on distortion, so it's you have a very similar tone, but they're very distinct instruments, so you can always keep track of each one, but they're always like doing interlocking patterns, so you tend to lose track of what it takes you a minute. Like when they start doing an interlocking pattern, you're like, okay, wait, who's playing what? Because like they'll be playing like the same note back and forth, like 16th notes or something. So it kind of takes you a minute to break that out in your mind. Drums and bass rhythmically are always like playing like syncopated long patterns that sometimes syncopate against the guitar lines or sometimes go with them. Usually when you're in the middle of a section of one of their songs, you can't tell where the beat is and you don't know where the syncopation is going to land. I haven't figured out their music to say, like, I don't know if they're playing in 4 and it's syncopated, or if they're playing in multimetric, or if they're thinking in like polymetric. I really don't know what's going on with their music.
It's open to interpretation, maybe.
Well, I don't know if it's open to interpretation necessarily. I just don't understand it. And it definitely can wash over you easily because it's not harmonically complex, and it's not like rhythmically it's not fast in a way where it's like overwhelming. You can't tell what's going on. There's a steady pulse always, and there's not many notes being played, so it's very digestible.
Yeah,
almost meditative. And the way they change sections is magical. Because sometimes it kind of, I'm not sure exactly how it happens. Again, like not understanding the mechanics of the music. Like you might hear like the guitar and the sax change together and then everyone kind of catches up, or sometimes they all just kind of change together. It's, I don't know how it works. I don't know if they're open-ended or they're all explicitly defined.
Yeah, that'd be really fun to talk to them about if we get the chance at some point. Because there's many different ways of making those change, and like, I would love to watch videos and maybe there's cue systems, or maybe they're all just listening and they've all grown up playing music like that, where there are signals happening instrumentally and they latch onto that and eventually they all get there, or they just rehearse 1 million times a week and they're just that good, That's also a big possibility.
Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to make assumptions. But anyway, great band.
Yes. 100%.
Their album Interventions is what really got me hooked on them.
Yeah.
But their newest album, The Common Task, is great as well. Either of those will do you just fine.
Awesome. And
very cool.
On that note, they have their own little Bandcamp feature where they're talking about their favorite artists that are currently on Bandcamp. So you can
really?
Yeah, it's fun. Here, I'll send it in the proverbial chat. But actually, I'll send it in the Zoom chat because that's more convenient right now. However,
how did you find that?
Just putzing around on the internet.
It's not on Bandcamp?
It is. It's like, I think I don't know. I love the website name horselords.org. So I went there and
search
and I think it was somewhere
.org, huh?
But anyway, yeah. So you can check out who they're recommending, and it looks like a really interesting lineup of like 5 other acts, musicians, recording artists. It's pretty cool.
Interesting.
So dig in. Right on.
Cool.
Yeah, amazing band, and I would love to learn more about how they do what they do, for sure.
For sure.
Well, yes, for sure. I meant that. I wasn't kidding.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Do either of you know about Anna Webber?
Anna Webber.
I don't think so.
ANNAWEBBER. Anna Webber.
Oh, yes. This is one of the many, many things sitting around in my Bandcamp wish list.
Yeah. And so I don't remember exactly how this came across my path here, but she's a ridiculously good composer and improviser, and she plays I think tenor and flute, and she's currently based in New York, and she has a record out called Idiom on Pi Recordings, and I've been a long time fan of Pi Recordings ever since Liberty Elman's Tactiles. That record blew my mind when I was in high school, and it changed my entire life. But this record I heard just, I think, a few, like, couple months ago or something like that. And so yeah, one of my personal heroes, Hollenbeck, is on there, John Hollenbeck. And my friend Mariel Roberts from high school is playing cello on this, apparently. What the heck?
Nice.
That's pretty sick. Good. Yeah.
Jacob Garchik on trombone.
Who's that?
Maybe I'll make that my next recommendation.
Okay.
But
I mean,
yeah.
and yeah, definitely Mariel as well. I mean, she's doing a whole lot on this scene right now, but Anna's writing is really cool. And part of what I like about Pi Recordings is that you can go on their website and you can check out the artist scores, right? So
really?
Yes. So I listened to some of the recordings on this record, and part of it is a large ensemble, and then part of it is a trio with her, John Hollenbeck, and Matt Mitchell. And I mean, it's like one of the most amazing trios that I could think of, right? They're, both Matt and John are incredibly masterful performers and composers in their own right. But I could actually read the score as I was listening and get a sense of what she was doing and how she was taking small ideas and moving them around and having the players improvise with them. But, regardless of like digging into the score, that's obviously not everyone wants to do that. The music is compelling and fascinating and coming from like a modern jazz and a modern classical tradition at the same time, with a lot of elements of improvisation in places where you would not expect it to be. It's not at all like a common form.
Sorry, what was the instrumentation on that?
Well, for the trio stuff that I was talking about, it's Anna on tenor and flute. And in particular, the piece I was listening to is mostly flute. And then Matt Mitchell on piano and John Hollenbeck on drums. And it's amazing. It's virtuosic writing. Like, just listening to the piano and realizing that it's only one dude kind of blew my mind, because Matt Mitchell has a way of like being, I can show y'all my hand so I can try to imitate it, but like, just imagine playing like a repeated line with one hand that's really technically and rhythmically demanding, and having melodies come out with your other hand and just being totally relaxed and having those melodies come out in a legato way, while the music is constantly shifting, and it's really demanding writing to keep up with. And he does a ridiculously just clean and thorough job. Really great writing, and her playing, her improvising is scary, and I'm yeah. And I think she might have studied, like, I saw that she was up in McGill for a while, so she might have studied with John Hollenbeck, but I haven't confirmed that. But I would highly, highly recommend Anna Weber and Idiom, this record in particular. It's really, in terms of like the modern jazz that is crossing multiple paths into modern classical music as well, and the things that Pi Recordings is pretty well known for, like Steve Lehman and Liberty Ellman and all that. Like this is some of the best stuff I've heard in a minute, for sure.
Cool.
Nice. Cool.
Don't be an idiot and check out Idiom.
Oh. That's my next tattoo, man.
Nice.
Michael.
Well, I guess I'm up. I'm gonna be quick on mine, because again, I'm not gonna do a deep dive on the music of the
It's okay. Just sell it to me.
All right. So let's see. I'm gonna jump around, go a different direction, and suggest a rap album.
Awesome.
So the album is Water by Mick Jenkins.
Okay.
Waters, I guess. It's Water parentheses S.
Oh.
Yeah. So here, let me pull it up real
Mick
quick.
Jenkins?
Oh, I messed up. I put Waters parentheses S. Man.
Oh, the Waters?
Yeah.
Wait, is this the right thing? No.
Nope. That's a tribute. There it is.
Wait, this?
That's
So how do you spell the artist's name?
Mick
Uh-huh.
Jenkins.
Leave that in, Bob. Just me whispering. All right, here we go. Oh, Chicago. Awesome.
Yeah, Truffles. That's his newest single. There it is, Waters.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one's a little bit older. It's let's see, what is that? 2014. It's a concept album. It's just a really dope album, to be honest. It's got really good beats, really awesome lyrics, and I really like his like style. He's got a really good cadence, and I kind of like stumbled upon him at some point, and this is probably my favorite album of his. So
can I ask a question? I consider myself a ardent hip hop fan. I didn't realize that you also were were digging in and checking out modern rap or anything, like what is your history with hip hop? Just out of curiosity, just for myself.
I mean, I guess I come from like really liking Outkast. Outkast was like my first hip hop duo that I really fell in love with. Like, yeah, a lot. I mean, pretty much everything up until like, you know, they split ways, and honestly afterwards, like Big Boy still did some really cool stuff after they split up, and
yeah,
I guess Andre kind of dropped off.
Like
but
that Ain't No DJ, whatever record that was on with General Patton.
That was
and all that. That's a good record, I think.
Sir Lucius Left Foot, I think.
Yes, it's a very good one.
That one's really good. Then he kind of got big and started doing all these collabs and stuff with, you know, Phanogram and whatnot. But yeah, Outkast was kind of like early on. I was really digging like Andre 3000's, you know, like Elevators and some of that, like those really kind of like, I don't know how to say this, but it's like storytelling, you know, and like,
yeah, but at the same time, like a really strange, playful way of coming at the lyric writing, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's bizarre at the same time, but they still stick to like the strong hip hop tradition of like being good storytellers, like you said, for sure.
Yeah.
And they even have like the art of storytelling with like Slick Rick, right? Where they're like,
that's right. Yeah, they have a couple, the art of storytelling. There's like part 1, part 2.
yeah.
Slick Rick.
But yeah, it's something about like his like Andre 3000's flows and how he like links his, you know, what he's talking about into the next like the next section, and it's very it's like easy to follow the story, but also what he chooses to rhyme and how he chooses to do it is really surprising and really good.
Dig.
So
right on. Well,
but yeah, so I don't know. I definitely dabble in hip hop.
Yeah. Mick Jenkins.
So I would recommend Mick Jenkins. He's doing good stuff, based out of Chicago.
Nice.
This is one of his many albums, so check him out.
Awesome. Yeah, Bob sent me that insane mixtape that came out of Chicago a little while ago. I was thinking about bringing that up. We'll see. It might come up.
Oh, the Icy Palm stuff?
Yes. That was absolutely bananas. But anyway, it's not my term.
Fantastic label.
Icy Palms, what's that?
Icy Palms. Let's just talk about Icy Palms. How's that?
Well, I don't know. You don't have to. I might because I was considering that. I might.
You can talk about it. You talk about it. I'll do some. Let's take it in a different direction here.
Yeah, you go for it. Do your thing. To quote Moondog.
Ooh, I love that album.
What?
That one.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that one right now. I got reasons. I got my reasons. Well, geez, how about freaking Coma Cluster Void?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so Coma Cluster Void?
Yeah, the band name is Coma Cluster Void.
Look at that artwork.
The album that I don't even know which one to recommend more. They have two. They have Thoughts from a Stone and Mind Cemeteries. I think Mind Cemeteries is probably...
So I don't want to be presumptuous, but this does sound a little bit like it might be kind of a metal record.
Yeah, yes, it is metal, but it's definitely like something of like totally its own category of thing here.
Okay.
So this band uses 10-string guitars.
Jesus.
Which is, you know,
that's
you know, you
many.
think you like Meshuggah one-upped themselves by moving from 7 strings to 8 strings, and then Rings of Saturn one-upped them by playing 9 strings. But these guys are using 10 strings.
Sweet merciful God. Okay, so when are these records out here?
So this band also features Mike DeSalvo, probably one of the most famous people on the record as the vocalist. So he was famous as being the vocalist of Cryptopsy for their releases Whisper Supremacy and also And Then You'll Beg. And he also sings in other bands as well, but Cryptopsy is obviously probably one of the most famous death metal bands.
Yeah.
Their household name.
Yeah, so it's
like
but his vocals are very distinct. He's always been one of my favorite vocalists personally because you can hear what he's saying, like you can hear the words he's saying, and he kind of does like this kind of like a low scream roar thing. It's not like most death metal vocalists tend to get down in the guttural and stay there, and it's hard to make out what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then most like hardcore vocalists are just screaming so hard that it's hard to make out what they're saying. So he's a bit more like dynamic. He has screaming and he goes low, but he goes everywhere in between, which is, I really appreciate his vocal style very much.
Okay. Interesting. All right. This is Translation Loss Records for both of these.
I don't know.
Well, is there one in particular? Because I'm looking at Thoughts from a Stone, and then what's Mind Cemeteries. Is there one that you're just like, this is absolutely 1,000,000% pick this up?
Well, let me describe them a bit because they're like either one is great. I would start with Mind Cemeteries, their first record, and then graduate to Thoughts from a Stone because Thoughts from a Stone takes a little bit more effort on the listener's end. So mine, but they both take a lot of effort on the listener's end. So the music is extremely dissonant. Like there's usually, you have the two guitars playing like, you have like semitones happening in both guitar parts, and they're like on either side, they're mixed, they're hard panned left and right, you know? They're not the same semitone sort of thing. So it's like you have like very dissonant chords, thick chords happening that are extremely dissonant. It's hard to sort of make out where the beat is a lot of times. The rhythms that are used are like very complex. There's probably quintuplets in this music, septuplets perhaps. The drumming is one of a kind. It's not your standard blast beats and what have you. Like really complicated stuff that probably took a lot of time to work out.
And that's Chris Burrows on the drums.
Yeah. I believe so. This band was started by Jean. Let me use her current name. Jean.
Well, it looks like Genevieve DeSalvo is a sibling of Mike. Interesting.
I thought that was actually his wife, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, sorry. That was
that.
You're probably right.
I could be wrong. Like I'm guessing a bit. The credits on here say Jean Comatus, but I think that she has a different name at the moment. But
okay.
So she and Sylvia. It's hard to read. This is like
Sylvia Hines, Hinz.
Yeah, they're the founders of the band. So Sylvia is the bass player, and Jean is the guitar player.
Okay.
And they also are like heavy instrumental, orchestral, classical musicians as well. Like,
so yeah, on the Bandcamp page it says Jeanne, like Jeanne, Jeanne Comatus, guitars and cello. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, they both. If you find both of these people's websites, they almost don't mention this band at all. So,
so there's cello. There's cello in the metal.
Yeah.
What's really the music end to end is like really dynamic. So there's like there are tracks that are like really slow and ambient sounding, and then you have like hard hitting tech death stuff happening, and it goes back and forth, and it flows. Like the compositions are extremely elaborate and very ambitious. So you have all kinds of stuff, all kinds of extra overdubs and instruments happening. It's
I think more than any other genre, I really appreciate when metal bands include other instruments that are outside of like the traditional, repertoire. Like sax. Like there's a few metal bands that do a really good job incorporating saxophone.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt the recommendations, but
no. I mean, that's interesting. I think it might have been my first recommendation on the first bonus episode was Obscura by Gorguts, and I think a lot of what I talked about was their use of viola. So that,
I used to play
absolutely,
viola.
100% agree.
Yep.
Should pick it back up.
Maybe I will.
Wait, you play viola too?
I used to, yeah, back in the day.
Actually, wait, hold up, because I know it's your turn, but hold up. I'm going to commandeer the session for one more turn. Because you did this to me last time.
Yeah, but you have many more records than I do, so
it's okay.
All right.
The people need to know. God, what's it called? Oh yeah, Tidy Universe.
Yeah. And the scores are in the internet. I've taken to the Pi Recordings model.
Wait, really?
They're on Bandcamp, I think. Let's look. I think I did that.
Oh, complete
Tidy Universe.
Yeah, so what I'm talking about right now is the Dirty Snacks Ensemble from Oakland, California. The project of none other than your host, Mark Pascucci Clifford. This is a band that I played in for, I guess I still do, ostensibly, right?
Oh,
I haven't been kicked out.
Yeah, definitely.
Not yet.
Not yet.
After this,
I mean,
episode,
everyone moved, and we're gonna have to figure out how to have gigs again, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the next record's out in October, so it may as well. This is.
I've played with this band enough to feel like that I've contributed somewhat to the inspiration and development of this music.
Yes, absolutely.
Which and obviously I was part of the recording session to some extent. I wasn't there for the whole thing, but so this Mark's music is hard to pin down because it doesn't fit itself nicely into a genre. It's honestly, if I had to categorize it, I would say it's similar to Mirna Bogdanovic. Like,
hey, you're using the word and the definition.
I should put that in my tags for the Bandcamp, man. I'll just tag her.
No, it's sort of like a you have you have jazz vibes.
Yeah. Well,
straight jazz.
And you play. So Mark is a vibraphone player. That was the joke for everyone who doesn't know.
Come on, people.
It seems to come from like a love of jazz, at least on your end.
Yeah.
And also through composed music, because this music doesn't have a lot of improvisation. It's mostly notated.
Yeah, I mean, in this record especially, there's like a severe lack of improvisation, and it's something I try to work on, but it doesn't always go well.
And you do have vocal lines here and there, but they're mostly instrumental.
Yeah.
Like most of the songs, even the ones that have vocal lines, are mostly instrumental.
Yeah.
Your music still is like pretty, like you have a lot of different things going on. Like if you just think about the first, I mean, any collection of tracks on this album you're going to get like very different types of music. Like Pee-Pee is such like a grooving, funky chord progression with like an interesting melody. And it's like, it's really about groove and funk. And then you have something like New Work for Old, which is this like extended, epic, masterful composition that like keeps building. Even it's like just keeps building and building and building.
Yeah.
Just keeps going. Or like, something like West Medicine. You have like there's a vocal, that's a that's a vocal song. So you have a
Oh, you should get like residuals on that because you contributed the one beat rest that separates the sections. You said, I have an idea.
yeah.
It's actually a key element that I've taken into many other realms now, where it's just like just stop music for a second and then keep going. It worked really, really well. And you did that at the recording session.
Really?
Yep. Because I had come in with all this new material, like, oh my God, there's metadata. And I was like, yeah, but I don't really know how to connect it. And we were recording it that day. You're like, all right, I think I know what to do. Can we just like insert a bar, one beat of rest? And
one bar of 1/4.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on. So I appreciate that. Thank you for that contribution.
Hey, anytime you need a bar of rest, just let me know. But yeah, you can buy the complete scores and parts for Tidy Universe plus a digital download.
Yeah, I'm gonna change that price. That's pretty funny. By the time y'all see that, that's gonna be significantly lower. I think I was just going for it.
I won't mention it's the price.
It's market price.
Yeah, it's the market price. It fluctuates.
Yeah, but I'm like laughing right now seeing that. I think I just threw that up and kind of went for it.
Yeah. So, this the instrumentation of your band, it's a bit like a rock band, like an extended rock band. Obviously, you're kind of the leader. You're the vibraphonist, but you're not necessarily always playing like the melodies, because you have reeds and violin and keyboards and synths and stuff that sometimes get the melodies. So like your vibraphone parts are oftentimes the support to everything. So it's like I find your part writing to be very very complex, very hard to play, honestly. But it really like it's I don't even know what else to say about this. It's
I thank you for repping it. I appreciate that deeply, and your contribution not only to the ensemble as like guitar and percussion and a voice of reason and everything has been huge, man. And it's amazing that you're a part of these records. I'm really excited for the next record to come out. We'll definitely talk about that as that happens. But
who's the person is that you in the vinyl
in the cover?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I've like talked about this that much publicly. This cover is a painting. So this was out on Recollect Records, who is ran by Austin Matthews, a friend of mine from Denver School of the Arts and the Denver scene in general. And he now has a great record store out there in the Golden Triangle district called Recollect Records. And he also has a record label that has released one record, and that's mine. And so we did, we pressed like some vinyl and some CDs and all that stuff. And in order to make this happen, and as is going to happen for the next record as well, because we're going to be doing a split release with another label, more on that later.
There's another record coming up.
Yeah. But he, I often go to the desert. That's where the Dirty Snacks name comes from, is like being in the desert and like making turkey sandwiches while you're waiting for the moon to come up, like in Goblin Valley, blah, blah, blah. And,
blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 bomb. And, I sent him a bunch of pictures of me and my typical desert crew in the desert. And this happens to be us. Oh my God, Bob, this is perfect. This happens to be us on the back end of the Chesler Park loop in the Canyonlands, in the Needles district of Canyonlands in Utah. Patrick Roth took this photograph. Austin Matthews painted it. But the reason why this is perfect, and I'm glad that everyone gets to hear this, but I had a dream that you and I took this hike twice in one day the other night, like 2 nights ago.
This is in Utah?
Mm-hmm.
This is in Utah?
Yeah, Utah. Needles district of the Canyonlands National Park in Utah. and it's the Chesler Park Loop, and this is it's a 12-mile loop. This is around mile 5 when you're on the back end on a Jeep trail, and you're starting to think that you might be lost and you didn't bring enough water and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, so this painting is of me and a couple of friends, and Austin Matthews made it, and it's
sounds like we gotta make this trip happen then.
Oh man, it's killing.
It's an amazing place. I go there quite often.
There's a lot of weird details about that dream, and once we talk to Matt, I can divulge the rest of them. But again, Dig, thank you very much for the rep for Tidy Universe, man. I you know, that takes me a long time to write, and I'm not the most organized band leader, so to get anything out like this.
Oh, this is a complicated band to like. I've never even attempted to do anything like this because it's complicated. I understand how complicated it is to wrangle a band, much less get them to stay together for years and then play music in a studio and stuff like that.
Yeah,
play the same stuff, man. And it's like, yeah, like improve, play the same music over time, and so watch it improve over time is.
Yeah, it's nuts when you like feel like you can just call some of these tunes, like what you said, like West Medicine or New Work. Like, you know, the last time we played before the pandemic, we played New Work, and I was like memorized on that, which is absolutely bonkers. But anyway,
yeah.
You know, yes,
I can't play this music unless I have it memorized, honestly.
Yeah, I know, and that's a whole other conversation that I would love to have. Because there's yeah, that's a whole other thing. But you know, Dig, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So sorry for taking a bonus turn.
It's okay. It's a bonus round. It's a bonus episode.
Yeah, there's no rules, man.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. I have 2 others that I wanted to kind of shout out. So I'm gonna do this like insane. This is one of the strangest things that's come my way in a while, and I don't know how it came my way. I don't know if Bob sent this to me or if it just was on like a blog or something. I have a few email subscriptions to blogs, but this is called it's by Duke, which I can say, but it's called Uingizaji Hewa. So I'm going to spell this out. Uingizaji Hewa.
Mm-hmm.
And so the record label that this is on, and maybe the artist as well. So, oh man, I'm sorry. Already I'm gonna be butchering anything that I'm trying to say about this right now. I think it's all from Uganda. Nwenge Tapes is a Kampala-based label. So the label is from Uganda. I believe that this music, a lot of it comes from Tanzania, I think. But let me just talk about what I've heard in the music because it's ridiculous. It's sample-based, but the samples come from all over the map, and the way that it's put together is so fascinating. As a fan of hip-hop, as a fan of the art, or just like the practice of sampling, the practice of like trying to gather sources and put them together as a piece, and a fan of tape music starting from the 60s and on, like this record is out of control. And I can't recommend it enough. Like, basically, they're doing things that you think about, like kind of chill tempo, like something like that, where people are bringing in samples like here and there of people, like they've cut up samples of, people saying something this or that that's like, important for their record for one reason or another, or you can even think of the books, and then like people are rapping over that. But think about that, and so instead of it like wherever that is 190 BPM, this is like literally at 300 BPM, but it's a similar idea. But not only are they sampling from like their own radio station, they're sampling from just like ambient sound outside and everything around their environment. And the result is like, it's not like I'm just like listening to this casually all the time, because it's extremely intense, but it's really fascinating and really compelling. So I'm sorry about the pronunciation. Like seriously, but this record is crazy and I highly recommend it. So I'll spell it one more time. It's the artist is Duke, and it's Uingizaji and that's on
and the record label
Nyege
NYEGE tapes.
Yeah. So yeah, dig in. I mean, this record that I'm talking about came out in 2019. And wait, Bob, do you happen to know how this crossed my path? That's a funny question.
I might have sent it to you because I follow this label pretty closely.
Okay.
I find all of their releases to be pretty fascinating. I recently bought another one, a more recent release from them. This is in my wish list, which of course is overwhelming and out of control. But yeah, I remember like I haven't listened to this in a long time, but like you describing it is like, it brings back, oh yeah, this is pretty wild stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's not,
yeah,
I remember this now.
Yeah. It's bonkers. All right, Michael, Michael, we've held the floor for far too long.
Wait, the only comment on this record is from Brian Wilson 10141. The beats are just mind blowing.
Fun fact: the name of the record label is a Luganda word, which means a sudden, uncontrollable urge to dance.
Oh, beautiful! Thank you so much, man.
I wouldn't be able to pronounce it either, but Nyege, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a good guess.
Yeah.
Tapes. Oh, okay. So like
top hits,
dance music. Like you can't help yourself. You're gonna hear these tapes and you're gonna fucking boogie.
All right. So I'm going to recommend a sort of like reggae album, I guess. So Hollie Cook. The album is Vessel of Love. That's HOLLIE Cook. I don't know where I came across this. So Hollie Cook, she's like a British singer, and she was part of the Slits. If you guys have ever heard of the Slits, it's like a all-female punk band from like the 70s or something.
Interesting.
That like kind of evolved over time, and she was like in the band like really late in the, I don't know, late stage Slits, like in the 90s or something, maybe the early 2000s. But yeah, it's a cool album. It's kind of like fun, like reggae, like like I don't know, psychedelic reggae. I don't know how to describe it. Genres just escape me, but it's good stuff. It's kind of fun.
Cool. Yeah, this awesome. All right.
Yeah,
and this is also
pop, maybe
pretty recent as well. I see.
Yep, this is 2018. Let's see here. What are some facts about this album?
Looks like all the drums are sampled.
Yeah. Is that a negative? Is that a bad thing?
Not at all.
No, of course not. It's just a fact.
Let's see. Recorded. Yeah, London. So yeah, check it out. It's fun and it's a nice, like, it's a good take on reggae.
What you were playing earlier, it seemed like coming to reggae from a perspective of R&B almost.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a good way to describe it.
I mean, that's an interesting. So what? Even in the credits here, if you look at the credits of Bandcamp, all drums sampled, and so yes, it's right there, but it's very specific. This is really interesting. And so what you're saying about it coming from like a scope of reggae, from Prince Fatty and Horseman in Saturday Night Style Volume 1. So it looks like they're telling you the specific sample source of the drums, which means that they're letting you know a lot about the compositional process and like the aesthetic process of making it, you know. At least that's my initial thought. I think that's really interesting though.
I think this is a sample pack.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, never mind. We're through here.
All right.
No, that's it. Well, I mean, that's interesting too, because it's still talking about
Saturday
like
nights.
the
I have a
compositional
Tumblr page.
process in a way. It's just like, this is how we made this music and we're letting you know, and this is the result. We're not trying to hide anything.
Yeah, I think that's cool how they kind of just lay it all out there.
Yeah, definitely. Dig.
So there might be it might be a negative thing that drums are sampled. No.
I disagree.
Not to
I
me,
don't
no,
think so
I-
at all. Like some of my
I-
favorite music records of all time are like completely sampled records.
I have this thought about this. So in in the recorded medium, there's a lot that you can do to achieve a record. There's many ways to skin the cat, and the important part is the result. I think it's not the method, because like, I mean, there's a lot of examples like Meshuggah's Catch 33, where it's like,
Yeah.
these guys could have tracked that music if they wanted to, but it was all sampled, you know? But it was like, you didn't know that, did you?
Well, I did. But hang on. I haven't thought about that specifically, but go on with your thought.
I mean, it's all I'm saying is like, it doesn't, the point is not the, I mean, certainly
always.
how it's made contributes to the result in a material way, but the important point is the result that you're getting. So if you're getting a result that is ideal and you're using samples, so be it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not
Right.
positive or negative.
Well, yeah, and like I guess certain types of music depend on how it was made, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And
it's different it depends on what you're talking about. Like when you're talking about like whatever the genre of like Rings of Saturn and like those type of metal
Tech Death
bands,
guys.
yeah, like I feel like it matters a little bit more, you know,
Yeah.
if they sped up the recording, or if not that I'm saying that they did, or they do, but you know, it kind of, it's like part of the discussion, or like
It's part of the discussion. It's
Yeah.
part of the discourse.
So
No,
just real quick before we get too far away from it, I just want to, what you were saying about Catch 33. I remember you had given me Catch 33 back in the day, and I at the same time, and like I think
those are like the opposite recording methods.
exactly. But in my mind, I had it flipped. So for probably like half a year, I was under the assumption that I was recorded with like a drum machine, not drum machine, but sampled drums, and Catch 33 was all live, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Anyway, and then also the other cool thing about Catch 33 is that kind of resulted in like what is now a standard death metal sampled drum machine like program now, right?
Yeah, Thomas Hawk's drum samples are, I forget the name of the sample pack that they're included in. But they're also they're a standard part of the let's call it the lower tier of the gent repertoire. Like it's very, 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 very commonly used.
Yeah, come at us, people. Come at, you know, we're on the media. All right.
I'll defend myself.
No, I know, but I know it's such a world.
I am what I am saying though is that I will not hold it against anybody like that they are using samples. Like that's really, it doesn't matter to me. It's not a negative thing. It's like saying that like, oh, you used acrylics instead of oils, or like it's such a dumb thing to complain about, because it's like the point is the
it's like
result.
an ad hominem attack when you're having a discussion about an idea. If I can relate it to something non-musical for a minute.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's it is missing the point.
Yeah.
The forest for the trees.
There you go.
Yeah.
Baby with the bathwater.
I mean, there's obviously like so much that goes into it as a performing musician, but I feel like, again, growing up listening to the bass lines that came out of my sister's like subsystem, like just bump doom doom king doom ding doom king, you know, it engendered sampled music, a love of it into my heart as a very, very young person, you know, and that's just influenced everything. I mean, like you were talking about PP earlier, that's just a etude on writing a piece for a band as though that band was a sample machine. And I had source material, which was Pee-wee by Wayne Shorter, you know, so it's literally treating a band as a sampler. It's just seeing it to the next point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right on.
But anyway.
Can I throw in a super fast
please
recommendation?
You're the guest of honor.
All right. I'm just gonna throw in a quick recommendation for this guy, Peter Webb.
This was a dope track you played earlier.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, really good guy, and he's a very good musician. And he has some stuff he's been putting out there. I really like this single he came out with called Home. Peter Webb, Home. It's on Bandcamp.
Oh, yeah, it comes up right away if you put that in. He's out of Georgia?
Yep. I think he's from Atlanta. I don't know what part, but anyway, it's a great
vibraphone. Hey yo,
it's a great track. Great track by a great guy. That's all I gotta say. It's really peaceful, and like honestly, it's one of my favorite songs that I listen to a lot. It's got all these layers that build on it. Like it builds on itself, and it kind of progresses and then changes, and it's just a really nice song that I really like.
Nice.
I was surprised by listening to it as we were cooking earlier. That like I was like, oh, this is dope, and then like the layers kept coming.
Yeah.
And I was like, the song kept building like longer than I expected, and I was just like, oh wow, this is a dope song.
Yep,
that's cool. I will definitely. It is currently in the wish list.
Yeah,
cool.
Drop it in the wish list, y'all.
Which means it's gonna get got. All right. Wait. So, can I? So on this, there's. Can I say two quick things? Or what? I'm sorry. Am I totally?
You're out of line.
Sorry. I just have two like sort of tangential things that I feel like might relate to this, but I don't know. And Bob,
podcasts have rules.
I know. And across this line, you do not. And also, dude. Okay. Well, Bobito, what did you have up next? Or I'm not sure where we are in the cipher here.
I definitely could go.
This could go for forever.
I could go on.
But I think what you're gonna say is more important.
Go ahead, do your thing. Speak your mind.
All right, that's so there was two people that I was interested in calling out, and one of them is this band / person in Dreamscape, and he's a gentleman in New Jersey who just seems to make what I would call bedroom jazz, you know?
Nice.
It just seems like he's multi-tracking on whatever gear he has and making jazz the best that he can. And I got his record and his CD and his bumper sticker like a little while ago, a couple years ago. And I think it's great, you know?
What's the artist? Can you repeat that?
In-Dreamscape. So, In-Dreamscape.
Is there maybe an album? We're seeing Trouble in Dreamscape.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah,
sorry.
This is underprepared. All right, So I'll track that down. The other person that I wanted to talk about in the same vein, there's a record called Reality, in parentheses US, by Robert Stillman, and Robert Stillman is out of Kent, UK, and he has managed to make a record again where he's recorded everything at home, himself, like reeds, keyboards, drums, and a lot of it is heavily like influenced by artists like Ornette Coleman and Albert Eiler, and he did a great job. Like this record is really fascinating.
Whoa.
Not only is are there some really great like kind of free jazz songs, but I don't understand how you can necessarily do that so successfully as he did just as one person. But there's also like tracks such as Ritual, the second one, which is like kind of a patient composition based on a drum track and a repeated line. So this one, Robert Stillman, I've really had a great time listening to, and it's a lot of why I like listening to it is personally because it's helped me think about other ways to approach recording from home, which a lot of us are doing. I feel like the pandemic has the pandemic has like put a lot of us like into like, hey, what can we do? Like we're all getting our gear up. Mics are getting cheaper by the day. And
Yep.
But this is a really fascinating record, and it's like an exercise in creating free jazz by yourself, which I know negates the point in a lot of ways. However, I thought
this touches back to our discussion that we just had. The point is the result.
Yeah, and I feel like the result was strong. I dig. So anyway, I'm gonna try to track down this in Dreamscape and Dreamsview real quick. But Bob, why don't you take the helm here?
Okay. All right. Should I do a deep dive one or a mysterious one?
Like one that mysterious meaning you don't really know anything about it.
Yeah.
You should probably do a deep dive because all of mine have been kind of mysterious.
All right, here we go. Ocrilim.
Oh boy. Oh my God.
Should we change? Can we do mysterious?
No.
Too late?
No, we're in there. Mick Barr. Here we go.
Mick Barr, if you're listening to this, I would love to have an interview with you. I will never forget the first moment that I heard this music. It really forever changed my perspective on all music, basically.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the artist's name?
Ocrilim. I'm guessing at the pronunciation. It's Ocril. 2 L's? 2 L's. I-M.
Yeah.
The artist name is Mick Barr. Mick Barr plays in a lot of bands, honestly. This is just one of his many projects. Oath Realm, Krallis is probably the most popular band that he's in.
Did this influence Okonos?
Onkos?
I'm sorry.
The Poconos?
Okonos.
Pinocchio?
Akakanos.
I mean, I would cite Ocrilim as a generalized influence to everything artistic in my life. In fact, I have this moment where I was in an art gallery with my sister Catherine. Here,
Oh, I know her.
yeah,
Shout out.
And we saw this work, and I was fascinated by it, and I thought to myself, "Oh, this is like an Ocrilim piece."
Huh.
Like a music piece or a cover? Like a art cover of the record?
No,
Or like
music.
Okay,
a music
wow.
piece.
I see. Wow. Okay.
I found a visual art piece that represented to me an Ocrilim piece. I don't remember the name of the artist.
Wait, so the visual art
Actually, I do. It's
represented
Neon Ferrari.
the musical aspect of Ocrilim, or did it represent the visual aspect of Ocrilim's
Actually, this is I literally just found the image of
Oh my
the
gosh.
piece. It's at the MoMA. The piece is called City.
Ciudad.
Oh dang, they got the Calder there too. We're trying to get over there soon.
So this is Leon Ferrari.
Sorry, is that the MoMA here or New York?
No, this is the MoMA in San Francisco, I believe, right?
Dig.
MoMA.org is San Francisco, right? Or is it SF? What is MoMA.org?
I don't know, man.
I guess it has to be SF MoMA to be the SF MoMA.
Yes.
MoMA. Oh, okay.
But
Gotcha.
anyway, so. But
Wait, I'm still trying to figure out where you were thinking of his album artwork when you saw this? Or-
No. His music.
So you saw that and you thought about sounds.
Yeah.
So your brain works very differently than mine.
Well, let me explain then, because this what I see when I look at this particular piece, the piece City, is like we're looking at an image on my computer, so it doesn't really do it justice.
Pull up the image, listeners, if you're still with us.
Pull over, take your phone off the charger, hold it up to your face.
Or don't pull over, just while you're in traffic.
So this looks a little bit like an artistic schematic of sorts. You have like a lot of different sort of iconography and like shapes of rooms or ducts or something, or like flows of traffic or something. It's hard to make out exactly what it all means, right? And it's complex in that, like, you can see patterns, but you don't know necessarily what they represent or
Yeah, it's kind of like a maze, but with like, there's
yeah
little units.
It's kind of like a maze, and I relate that to Mick Barr's music because it's amazing.
Oh.
All right, now I get it. You could have
Now
just
I
said that
see.
to begin with.
Well,
Okay,
I mean, for real though, it is like some of the most astonishing and dense.
Okay.
Let's go, Bob. Do it. Come on.
All right, so Mick Barr has a lot of projects, a lot of different. His older projects are I think his earliest stuff is with Oath Realm, if I'm not mistaken. Ocrilim is strictly solo Mick Barr on guitar by himself. That's the project. And he plays live often. Now if you go to the Ocrilim Bandcamp page, there's, I don't know, 20, 30 releases on here.
Yeah.
There's a lot. And each of these releases is not a minor thing to get a hold of. Like they are all massive, detailed, enormous compositions that take hours and hours and hours of very careful listening to get your head through. Like, none of this music is easy to get through. So I would recommend to the listener who has never heard Ocrilim before to start with the album called Annwn, and that is spelled Annwn, which is, I think, the Welsh heaven or something like this.
Okay.
So there's a few Annwn albums. The first one is the one I would recommend. The track titles are like Annwn 1, Annwn 2, 3, 4, 5 through 7. So this is it has a very specific like setup sort of for the album. So it's overdubbed guitar. So there's I believe I have the actual physical copy of this somewhere, and it says in it, like, he did a little drawing of his setup, but it's like bass, and I think there's like or maybe there's 2 bass guitars and then 4 electric guitars, something like this. I think that's what it is. It's something similar to that, where there's like double bass and like 4 guitars or something like that. But all the music is that the guitars are always distorted and almost always tremolo picked. Like, the duration of this album has like 4 guitars on distortion being tremolo picked for like the whole time, which can be very it's such a wild album to listen to. What else can I say about it? It's there's no dynamics obviously because of that, like actual volume dynamics. Okay. So the dynamics of the music are found only in the compositions. It's sort of the way he records this and the way he writes this music kind of lay bare his ideas, which are they're harmonic in nature, they're riff based, and so he's not working with timbre, he's not working with like like the sound of the recording at all. There's no post effects on this at all.
It's just super raw that way, right?
It's extremely raw. Each of these songs represent countless hours of practice and like memorization. Obviously, like I can't imagine playing this music. First of all, I can't imagine that he actually notates this music, because it's like the output is too quick. Like he has to just be able to do this, write a song, have it memorized, and perform it. I don't foresee. Obviously, I don't know until I ask him, but I can't imagine that he actually notates this. I think that this is him sitting around on the guitar for hours and hours and hours, playing these parts and building these compositions, which are so incredibly elaborate. So a bit of the backstory on this podcast that I've been thinking about for years. One of the first things that I thought I wanted to do was to transcribe a song from this album, which I might still do and present it as like and break it down. And the song was Annwn 2, the second track on the album. It's 15 minutes long. It's massive. I got through most of it transcribing, and then I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I can. I don't know if I can keep going with this. It's like
just a couple quick interjections with that, Bob, because first of all, I mean, something you just brought up, man, I'm like, you had sent me this record and you're like, I want to have a videotape, well, you know, a recorded, documented conversation with you as soon as you've listened to it. And dude,
yeah,
I had it in my, like my ears, and the first time I was trying to listen to it, like I'm still getting through it, and it's been a long time, you know, and I had it on at Berkeley Bowl, and I was trying to make decisions on vegetables. And do you know how insane I felt? You have to like be sitting still in a room and only doing that. I was just like, all right, cool, I'll check out this record. I have some time. And I just felt completely 100% bananas. Like, hey. But you know, like, but I couldn't. It's a record that like completely took over my entire focus and hang, and I couldn't do anything else at all. But that's about the other thing that I did want to say is something that I'm going to save till the end of the podcast. So anyway, carry on.
So there's nothing else quite like this, I'm pretty sure, anywhere. No other artist makes music quite like this. He's one of a kind, and if you're bored of this album, you've listened to it too much, well, there's 30 other ones. So but I swear this one album could take you years to get your head through. It's that deep, it's that complex. There's so much going on. There's if you just imagine playing his riffs, like he's very a technically accomplished guitar player. So like the things that he's playing are quick. They're technically challenging. Yeah. Like he'll be playing these like very quick sort of like you'll when you're listening to it, it's easier to perceive like the longer tones. Like you'll have a guitar that's kind of tremoloing on one note for a while, and it kind of changes.
So wait, can you describe that real quick? You're talking about a picking technique, yeah?
Tremolo, yeah. So that's
it's like rapid picking.
It's rapid picking back and forth.
Like-
Very common technique for.
It's like a mandolin thing.
It's a mandolin thing.
All right, cool.
It's
I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same boat.
Tremolo is a word that gets thrown around with different meanings.
Bandied
so
about.
Well,
yeah,
like a piano, it's like two notes alternating, right?
Yeah, and
Typically.
it means a different thing to electronic musicians. Means another thing to guitar pedals. It's just it's a tricky
It's
word.
a catch-all.
When you're speaking of guitar pedals, it means an entire.
It's like toxins. It just kind of means a lot of stuff.
But yeah, I'm talking about tremolo picking, the proper, like the definition of that word realized to reality. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not using a metaphor. What else on this album? So this album has a partner, I would say, in this discography. There's an album called Annwn, which is much more recent. Now there's an Annwn and then there's an Annwn Part 2. Annwn is both of those albums in one, but this is just one guitar solo by itself, no overdubs.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
So, and if you're curious, because I was, it's not the same recording. It's a new recording. So it's not the same recording as Annwn 2 is the same song as Annwn 2 on the Annwn album, but it's a different recording of that guitar part.
Interesting.
And also, he doesn't use a click, it seems like.
What's that?
So this music, which is incredibly complex with a lot of overdubs, like the album Annwn, many overdubs, I would think the easiest way to record that, like intuitively, would to be, okay, you have this recording, record it like end to end with a click, and then you can have a point of reference from which to overdub and be on top of it. There's obviously not a click because his tempo fluctuates.
But a click is like a spot.
Steady metronome, steady BPM, steady metronome.
Gotcha. Yeah, metronome. Yeah.
So the way that his tempo fluctuates tells me that it's performed without a click live. The overdubs are done live without a click. So and then this is the same case. So it's like the tempo is actually fluid in these, which is just another element of complication that like is overwhelming when you think about the performance of this music. And as if Annwn was not raw and bare enough for you, this music is even more bare and more raw on Annwn. So,
and also probably a glimpse into the process, like you were just talking about, right? I mean, that's really interesting. Yeah. I haven't checked that one out yet because I'm going to spend like the next like decade of my life like digging into Annwn, like really trying to. It's going to take a minute, It's intense. I'm of course making some assumptions here, but that's okay.
I think not assumptions, but I think I'm making educated guesses actually.
Well, yeah. Well, a couple of other things that about Mick Barr. He plays a lot with our friend Eva Mendoza, who when she was out here in the Bay, we played with in different.
What does he play with Eva in?
I just saw stuff? A bunch of I saw on her grams and lineups that they're working together in different bands, and I'd love to check those out. So
is it improv though? Like, because that's the thing that's weird about this that you say is that Eva Mendoza strikes me as like a improviser. She's a person.
Oh, but she's like very technically, she can pull off anything written that you.
Well, no, of course. Like I know that she's an accomplished musician.
Right.
I just see her when I've seen her play. It's usually in the context of free improv. So,
well, I mean, in Natural Ways, her group, like that definitely comes from compositions, and then is like really like rocking improvisation as well. And we'll dig into that a little bit as well. But also, I mean, Hydra Head, that record label released Annwn in what was it, 2008, I think, which is really interesting to me. I know about Hydra Head because of that band Daughters, which we've talked about a little bit. I personally love Daughters, and I think that Bob and I might have some we have some words. But I think it's interesting that they're on the same label, and I wonder in what capacity Mick Barr is involved in that record label.
Wait, sorry, what's Ava's project on there?
No, Mick Barr, Annwn, Ocrilim. Annwn, like Ocrilim, the record that we're talking about.
Oh, Annwn?
Annwn?
And I see Annwn. I like that interpretation of it.
It's the Welsh like heaven. It's a Welsh word.
Oh, my bad. So it's spelled ANNWN, and we already went through this to your credit, but in my mind it's already set like that. So my apologies to everyone. I'm sorry for everything. My apologies.
This is an interesting record label. They have the band ISIS, not to be confused with the group ISIS.
Oh. I know ISIS, the band.
Yeah.
But
wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange that this material, I don't know if it's strange, actually.
I had no idea that this label held this record, honestly.
And I wonder to what capacity. Like, I don't know if they actually did any distribution or anything. So, maybe that's kind of a moot point.
I mean, clearly he's selling it also on his own Bandcamp, so...
Which is the point. Annwn.
Of this whole thing.
And
well, it's on
my friend
Annwn.
It's on both of their Bandcamps. It's on the Hydra Head Bandcamp, and it's also on the Mick Barr Ocrilim Bandcamp.
Yeah.
So
which is dense.
Probably you should get it from the Ocrilim Bandcamp.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Another thing, real quick, before we wrap that, I'd like to mention is we mentioned before Jutjite. We talked about him on the last episode, but one thing that's really cool about Jutjite is that before every Bandcamp Friday event, he picks a different charity that he's going to donate to. So if you're wanting to dig into any of his incredible projects,
Wait, really?
Yeah, like I get emails every Bandcamp Friday. It's like this Friday, Bandcamp
how do you
Friday.
Get emails? I don't get emails.
100% of my profits are going to go to whatever charity he has in mind for that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he doesn't.
How come I don't get emails?
Because when you push follow, you have to agree to the emails.
Yeah, you have to click the box.
Yeah, click on the box. What's in the box? What's in the box?
All right. Let's see if I can remedy this.
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there. We talked about Jutjite, and I feel like Ocrilim and Jutjite occupy similar realms in my mind. I know that Bob is taking much deeper dives on both, but I'm working on it. Me and my friend Annwn.
I mean, they're both like unusually complex, like metal.
It's insane music,
yeah.
But it's really, really fascinating and 100% worth spending your time on. And just don't do it when you're trying to decide on broccoli decisions in Berkeley Bowl. It's not worth it.
Shall we give Michael the last word on this?
Michael.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me pull up my list here. I have a lot of stuff that I don't really know very well, so I'll just pick this one album that I like. So the artist is Ulrika Spacek. That's Ulrika space Spacek. They're kind of like a psychedelic rock. I hate genres. It's music and it's so yeah, the album I would suggest by them is Suggestive Listening EP. It's I think it's their best stuff, and it's got some cool stuff on it. It's a very it's not that complex. It's kind of like I don't know how to describe it.
They have a pink cover vinyl.
Oh, nice.
They
2018
alternative, and I mean these are another thing that I like about Bandcamp is they have the tags that you apply to yourself as a band. So they have alternative, art rock, post punk, Ulrika, Spacek, and London. So those are just a few starting points. I'm not saying that that's how you should define them. I'm just saying
tags are troublesome because you're limited to tags that are out there that exist, I think.
Yeah.
So
what? I mean,
I don't think you can just type any word in the tags.
I thought. Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of hashtags.
Well, I guess they do have Ultra Spacek in here. Ulrika.
Ulrika.
And Wayne.
Spacek.
Annwn.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'm probably 100% wrong on that. So
that's okay.
Strike that from the record.
It's okay.
Reverse it.
We all make mistakes.
Strike that. Reverse it.
But yeah. Is there going to be like show notes with like a list?
Definitely.
That we can just like put in?
I should mention this. The Apple Music, the Apple Podcast notes are too limited in character set. So I can't put URLs for everything. I wasn't able to last time. So if you want to get just the URLs for all these Bandcamps, go to our website on Libsyn, where you can see the full show notes.
Yeah, and I'll be tagging every artist that we've talked about as well in our media posts. So if you're checking that out on Twitter or on Instagram, like all of them who, they'll all be tagged on there as well. So we'll make sure that we can link to these pages, but definitely check out our website and also subscribe wherever you're listening, because that's the sickest thing. That's the illest way to do it.
It's the illest, the dopest.
It's the.
Can we do like a bonus list on the show notes of like stuff we didn't talk about but we suggest, or is that too much?
Well,
no.
I mean, one thing that I should say real quick.
There are rules for podcasts.
The band I was trying to say earlier when I said Dreamscape, which was incorrect, it's In-Dreamview. So that's this cat. I think Matt Strober, Matt Strober out in New Jersey, and he makes some stuff that really resonates with me. Like, just me recording a bunch of instruments and doing my thing in a room. So anyway, In-Dreamview, Collisions Part 1.
Whoa, this is already in my wish list. I don't even know what this is.
Well, clearly you knew at one point what it was.
Yeah.
Or you.
My Bandcamp wish list is out of hand.
Your Bandcamp is out of hand.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
It's good to, we'll let everyone know about the chat at some point, but it's good to hang with you outside of the chat.
Yeah.
They don't get to know about the chat yet.
We could post URLs to the chat. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, once Bob releases the books, the books are going to be released probably in a year and a half. I think there's plans for that. He's talking with Penguin Classics about the chat editions of the books. So we'll let everyone know about that. But until then, just,
yeah,
just try to imagine.
It's up.
Until then, just try to imagine.
Just picture the chat. Everything you've heard about it is true.
Yeah. It's true. Just picture the chat. It's probably worth mentioning that. Are we done? We're done, right?
What? No. Last thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Not about an album. Come on, don't be ridiculous. No, I do want to give credit to Bob. Thank you so much for organizing and hosting everything and making this podcast happen. I know you call me a co-host. However, it should be acknowledged that you dreamed this whole little dream up and
We don't.
you work super
we don't
hard
have
on
this
this, man, so
podcast to
I appreciate
blow
it.
smoke
That's all.
up each other's capes. Come on.
Dude, I'm wearing my cape wrong right now. Like, I have my superhero costume on backwards. I can't even do that.
No, I appreciate all of the things that you're doing as well. I couldn't do honestly. I couldn't do it without you because I haven't been able to. Literally,
Well,
I recorded
He's tried.
I recorded a bunch of episodes and I was like, no, not good, and deleted them.
oh,
And
okay. Well,
then I was like, oh, Mark, do you want to do this with me?
dig. All
Because
right.
I knew that we could do it together.
Oh, yes.
And that you would be the right person.
Those who couldn't see, I just threw up the horns. And so I appreciate that. And
I failed on my own. I needed you in order to make this happen.
Oh,
I taught the middle school jazz ensemble today, and this poor cat, man, just coming into the school, like everyone's like much more advanced than him. He put away his horn and was quietly sitting, and he was just like, "I'm sorry, sir," and he literally called me sir, and everyone started laughing, and I was like, "Hey, chill, it's all good." And he's like, "I don't want to ruin your band," and I just laughed a little bit, and I was like, "I'm gonna be the only one who ruins this band. You pull your horn out. If anyone ruins this band, it's me." You pull your clarinet right back out. But it was a very sweet little moment. And he pulled out his clarinet and didn't play a note as of today, but we'll get there. It'll be good.
You can do it.
that's the whole
You can
point
do
of
it, buddy.
the class, right? To learn
Oh my
how to play the notes.
goodness gracious. Yeah, it was a funny dude, but we made some music, man. We were grooving.
Yeah.
We were playing some Grover Washington Jr., Mr. Magic. It
Nice.
sounded good.
And this brings us to the end of our show within a show where we talk about our work days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Circle. I felt like that was some positive ambit of it. Oh,
No, that was good. Good addition.
I think both of us appreciate our employments very much.
absolutely. 100%.
Yes.
And
But
okay.
it doesn't hurt to blow off steam, you know?
No.
Not saying that's what you were just doing, but you were just telling an anecdote.
Yeah, that tangentially related to something that I'd thought about probably 10 minutes ago, and I'm glad I saw it through. So there we are.
Gotta
All
get
right.
those off your chest.
All right.
All right, dig, y'all. Thank you everyone for
Bye.
listening. And again, subscribe, check out our Patreon, patreon.com, Fantastic Tones for Human Bones. Be on the lookout for Fantastic Bones for Human Tombs for Halloween season. We're going to do some specials for that. I'm excited about
Nice.
that. And
Bones is not
extra
spooky
special
enough.
thanks to our special guest, Michael.
Oh,
Yeah.
Michael.
Thanks for
LaDue?
having me.
Is that the
Yeah.
full hand there?
That's my full name. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me. Even though
Yeah.
I don't know anything about anything
No.
with
All-
regards to music.
No,
all you
you have
This-
have
this-
added to my
this-
wish list.
hold on. This episode is about being a fan of music.
That's true. I am a
And
fan of music.
supporting
I do
music.
deeply love and support music. So
Yeah.
happy to participate in that endeavor.
Yeah, big time. And we'll have Michael back periodically.
I'll be around.
Yeah. Since he lives here now.
Oh, dig, really?
No, just for the couple weeks. Maybe. We haven't talked about it.
Right on. You heard it here first, folks. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful night.
All right.